Got to loosen up for the show.
Trump tax returns. MLB playoffs. Cowboys suck. Stars and Lightning go into Game 6. Ilhan Omar accused of voter fraud, and a whole lot more coming up on today's Wade and Carter Show.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you. Left-handed, too.
Yes.
It's not my dominant hand.
Good morning.
How are you?
Oh, it sounds like a little hot.
It does sound a little hot, doesn't it?
Like-
I don't know why. That looks good. That looks good.
I don't know if I want to hear that much of me this early.
I certainly don't.
Wade and Carter Weather brought to you by Deerland Feed. For all your needs, there's Deerland Feed. You got to know, folks, that's the place to go. If you need, I'm not trying to rhyme. It just seems to happen.
It just happens.
At times. Get by there. Fencing needs, pesticides, seeds, fertilizer,
Herbicides.
sack and tackle. Well, probably have both. They certainly have saddles and tack.
Cowboys managed to sack. They couldn't tackle.
Right.
Couldn't cover.
79 degrees in Victoria. Could be blustery today. Blustery is a good word.
It's a good word.
Does it imply cold, though?
Yeah.
Okay,
we'll say
windy.
it does.
It's gonna be windy and like this is about as high as it's gonna get. It's 79 now. Should be a little bit cooler. This is weird to me. It says it's 79. And I'm just reading the weather. 79 now. Then there's sunrise at 7:19. At 8, it's 70. And then it starts going back up again. I don't know.
I don't know either.
70-ish today. You don't need a sweater.
North wind will blow in later.
Yeah.
Cooled off tonight. What's the low tonight? Because that's going to get people excited.
53.
There you go.
You excited?
Yeah. And what if we peek ahead to tomorrow? What's tomorrow going to look like?
Tomorrow is a high of 82. The highs for the week, 82, 87, 87, 85, 85, 85, 87.
Winter is here, folks.
We will rebuild.
We will rebuild. We can rebuild.
Larry Leahy jumps right into it. Aggies offense was MIA. Folks, they played Vanderbilt.
Did they win?
Yeah,
I didn't see the score.
17-12. Way to make a statement. Best team you've ever had. The schedule was your only enemy. You play Vanderbilt. You win 17-12. I mean, I get it when you get beat by LSU, who also got beat this weekend. When you get beat by Bama, when you get beat by Georgia, I understand. When you get beat by Mississippi State in Starkville, I understand that. But you should have rolled against Vandy.
Really? You're going to go there?
Yeah.
Because the Longhorns should have rolled against
We
Tech.
did. We just didn't play any defense. Are the Aggies going to call it a defensive struggle? They were supposed to be an offensive juggernaut this year.
Well, Vanderbilt had a good game plan, apparently.
You know, at the end of the year, this is a true story. At the end of the year,
Neither one of those teams are
It's
going to
gonna be there.
fighting
No.
for anything.
but Texas will probably win the Big 12 this year. But at the end of the year,
I don't know. K-State looked pretty good on the weekend.
yeah, but see, here's what people forget. I think that those 60 points you saw Texas score, I think they'll score them every week. I do. It's just going to be a function of can they find a way to stop somebody else from scoring 61.
Yeah.
And you and I watched that game together at different locations when Washington State played UCLA, and there was like 140 points scored. You know, it's like it almost went to OT.
You don't have to
there's
remind
70.
me.
I don't think Brad Martin says don't be a hater just because Texas doesn't play anybody. You're telling me that on the heels of a Vanderbilt game. I mean, people forget that the SEC has Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Missouri, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and I'm sorry, South Carolina.
Kentucky.
South Carolina, are they ACC?
Gamecocks, no, there's.
Yeah, come on. Those teams are, come on.
I think, yeah.
I mean, yes, you can't vicariously be relevant because you play in the same conference with Alabama, Georgia, Auburn, LSU. It wasn't that long ago that Auburn was pretty terrible too. They bought Cam Newton, you'll recall. They bought Cam Newton for a year, won a championship, and all of a sudden they're Auburn. They became Auburn again. Well, Auburn. They were terrible for a long time before they bought Cam Newton.
Pretty much since Bo Jackson was there.
True. Boy, he was good.
CW Bean, good morning. Natalie Mayer checking in. Marvin Mickish, good morning. Justin Glass. Bobby Leister.
So
Andy Rhea Jr. Let's get through the roll call. HR Mallory.
Hello.
Holding steady at 175 YouTubers. Judge Posey, good morning. Rena Scherer.
Good morning, Judge.
Lacey Merriman, good morning to you. Michelle Hawkins checking in. Karen Webb, good morning. Rob Moore Knipling. Andy Schneider, good morning.
Hello, Matt.
Says the cold front just blew in.
Matt Boucher checks in. Of course, Brad Miner.
Yeah. Patrick, who's that? Patrick Strauss, good morning. Callie Fromme.
Hello, Callie.
Says it's 64 in Fredericksburg.
There you go. Well, have a glass of Pinot. Marvin Mickish.
Chris Conrad, good morning to you. We were lamenting over the Cowboys yesterday.
So, my take for all the Cowboys homers out there, of which
James Kurth,
I come
Carl
close.
Big Boy Smith.
But I think sometimes in my effort to not be a homer, I'm too hard on the Cowboys. What I saw yesterday, CeeDee Lamb, Rookie of the Year, great player. Has just a great head for football. Troy Aikman salivates when he talks about him. He just settles into that zone. He finds a crease. I mean, CeeDee Lamb is a very, very mature football player.
Dak Prescott might be the best quarterback between the 20s.
Yeah. Amari Cooper, great receiver. Gallup, great receiver. Mr. Schultz, I saw nothing. He did pretty good.
Turned into pretty solid tight end.
Here's the problem. They truly make Dak look better than Dak is. Dak Prescott throws balls that limit yards after catch. That touchdown that Wilson had, no, the one that Gallup had down the left side, you even hear Aikman go, the ball is underthrown, and Gallup comes back and gets it. I mean, he had to come back over the wrong shoulder, and Gallup finds a way to pull that in. It goes down on the books as a completed pass for Dak.
Yeah.
It was like 40 yards, but it should have been 43 yards, and it would have been a touchdown.
Well, how about the one that I think, was it Gallup too on that one? In and out of the gullet of the Seattle defender who was laying on the ground when the ball hits him, and then he kicks it to himself, or he tried to kick it up.
That receiver, just like his eyes were as big as Mike Singletary's. He just focused on that ball.
And Gallup grabs it. I mean, that ball was terribly thrown.
Terrible. He throws it behind people consistently. And folks, when you're running across the middle of the field and the ball comes in on your left hip, that linebacker is waiting to just knock your teeth out of your dome. You've got to get that ball out of it. I watched, we talked about this.
Credit the Cowboys receivers
for being great.
For being good enough to make, you're saying it, but they make catches on balls that average receivers wouldn't make.
They just go, I couldn't get to it. I mean, Cooper's reaching behind him and then spinning to survive.
Zeke gets hit in the hip, I don't know how many times, on little flare passes out of the backfield yesterday. And I think at one time, Aikman said, well, Zeke's got to make that catch. It hit him in the back hip.
Yeah, no, that's you. Whereas Russell Wilson turns, and if it's even his last read and he can dump it off, he just leads it right out there in front of the guy, catches it out in front of him. He's still got his eyes on the field. That Connor, the runner for them, did a great job yesterday.
I know we sacked him a few times, but boy, there were times when he had a lot of time and they were down two starting linemen.
He just stood there.
But until the Cowboys get a defensive secondary, because I guess there's really no offensive secondary, so until they get a secondary, unless they win a game and luck out, a la Madden style, and have the last possession and score the last touchdown or the last points, to win a shootout. The Cowboys are not going to win many games because their secondary was exposed constantly. And I don't know why the Seahawks didn't just keep throwing it deep and exposing the terrible secondary that the Cowboys have.
Did you see on 2 of the touchdown passes? Now, I know that Lockett, that guy's good, folks. He's good.
Pretty good.
But did you see that twice he was 8 yards beyond the secondary? I mean, that's not coverage. That's like the guy wasn't lollygagging either.
No.
They're just not good.
And who was the one that lollygagged it towards the goal line and then
Yes,
the defender punched it out?
That was
for the
great hustle
touchback.
by the Cowboys.
Yeah, but that's not great hustle. The only reason it's great hustle is because you got burned so badly.
Right, true. That guy.
I mean,
don't know
at least
what that
I guess
Seattle
he.
player was thinking. What was he thinking?
I think he thought he was. I think he thought he was in the end zone already.
Yeah, you got to run till somebody tells you to stop, Forrest.
At least, I mean, he didn't quit on the play. Oh man, and this is nothing new. We've been crying about the Cowboys secondary for as long as we've been doing this show. It's been the Achilles heel of the Cowboys.
Yes.
Forever. Even when they went and tried to draft guys from LSU, cornerback U, and thought they were fixing it, it really didn't fix it.
Nope.
And the fact that they have NFL backups starting in their secondary is the reason. And here's probably the thing that bothered me the most about watching that game. Slant pass over the middle, Russell Wilson throws it high, and the DB is sitting there celebrating like, oh man, I'm the reason for that. Me.
Yeah.
Doing this one.
He threw one bad pass.
I saw you all game. You were doing this most of it. Oh, geez.
I'll tell you, though, we had revised after last week the improbable onside kick and the field goal to win. We had revised our Cowboy status from 8-8 to 9-7. I think after yesterday they go back to 8-8.
I don't even know.
Are you on 7-9?
I'm thinking 7-9.
They're trending in the wrong direction. How about that? That's our Cowboy trend. Sooners lose to Kansas State. 2 things. Darrell Royal, the great and late Darrell Royal, who was a Sooner, used to say he always said there's when you pass 3 things can happen and 2 of them are bad. That was something that was attributed to Darrell Royal. But Coach Royal also said freshmen get you beat. And Spencer Rattler, the quarterback for the Sooners, no slam to him. He just looked like a freshman. I mean, he's a redshirt freshman. He's got lots of crazy skills. I was going to say he's a freelance guy. He's like Brett Favre kind of. He's got it. But he looked like a freshman, and the Sooners got beat. I did not watch the Aggie game 17-12. I'm sure it was on the SEC network. But that's 2-0 teams at the bottom of the conference, and that's the way they look. 17-12 over Vanderbilt. How did Vandy score 12? How did the Aggies only score 17?
4 field goals.
Probably.
Touchdown, a field goal, and a safety.
Or
trying to figure it out.
Or touchdown and a couple of missed extra points.
6 safeties.
Andy didn't have a kicker. They hung in there with the Aggs.
Brad Myers says Texas reminds him of the Texas Tech teams when Leach was the coach. Let's just outscore everyone.
Yeah, now one thing that I did have somebody point out that was not a Texas fan, so I took it under advisement criticism.
Kenny Cooch is in, Catherine Harms.
They said make a note that Texas, better than ever before, which would be until 2010, better than in years past, swarmed to the football. And the gentleman made the comment, I think they're actually over pursuing a little bit, and it doesn't do any good to get there in a hurry if you don't make the tackle. And he said that he believes that Chris Ash, the new defensive coordinator, has them focusing so much on being big and present and aggressive that they've forgotten to slow down, mentally group, and wrap up. So if they can do that, Texas can be good. The difference between Texas and OU is Texas got out of there with a W. Good morning, Wade and Carter. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Margaret Thatcher checking in from the great beyond. Yeah, thank you, folks,
Yeah.
to all of you, by the way. I made a comment yesterday on Facebook, and it's not I've accumulated a lot of you over the years. You know, there's lots and lots of somebody will send me a note, and I'll end up adding them as a friend, and we all do that. You know, I've never gone back in. Some people go, I'm cleaning up my Facebook friends, and if you don't acknowledge this post, because nobody would acknowledge mine, I'd have like Dawn. That's all I'd have left.
That's all you have left.
So I was very
I've never done that either.
humbled, flattered. It was very, very kind of so many of you to send, and I do it every day too. I go through and see whose birthdays they are and say happy birthday, happy birthday. But there were a bunch of them, and I really appreciate it. I tried to answer as many as I could. So thank you very, very much. It's fun.
Enjoyed celebrating your 58th with you.
Yeah.
Don't look a day over 57.
How good was that steak?
So good. I had 2 of them.
Pretty good, wasn't it? Folks, we've gotten hooked on it. It's not cheap, but it's cheaper than going out. Gotten hooked on going to Sam's and buying that beef tenderloin. I go and cut that into
Strips.
1 3/4 inches, not quite 2 inches, just kind of get it kind of like a guy that drinks rye and throws hatchets would enjoy. You have to know your audience.
You do.
My mom wants it crunchy. Ash is like, I'm like, you can always tell because we were raised on, I was raised on sirloin, and like it's hard. My kids now are like, Dad, what's wrong with the steak?
Yeah.
They're used to that tenderloin now that just falls apart.
Sirloin, if you don't marinate a sirloin,
Put some MSG on it or something, break it down, pound it with a hammer.
T-bones were a rare treat in our house. Love it.
Chew on that bone for a while.
Yeah.
So the other one,
Saturday,
Texans, we got to talk about. You got to give it equal time. Texans, they suck too. They're now 0-3, brother. Texans 0-3.
Yeah, trying to get there it is. Now my score comes up.
Deshaun Watson. I asked several people yesterday, Cowboys fans.
Chiefs Ravens tonight.
You want Chiefs? That should be a good ball game actually. If you like the NFL at all.
Lose to the Steelers. Texans did 28-21.
Roethlisberger that game at the end it wasn't really that close. I think the Steelers really played well down the stretch. Roethlisberger looks good. The Steelers look really, really good.
Roethlisberger doesn't look like he's 55 years old this year.
No, the Steelers are
$6 million man. All the surgeries they had to rebuild him are working.
Botox, pec implants. He's had it all. It's like the Jennifer Aniston of football.
Now he's looking good.
He does.
Will he break down? That's the one thing that Steelers fans are just hoping doesn't happen.
Different styles of play, but the two guys. Well, I think you have to throw Russell Wilson into this mix as well. Roethlisberger and Aaron Rodgers, the two greatest extenders of the play that I've ever seen. Rodgers can get back there.
I don't know. Joe Montana was pretty good at
Well, he was. Okay. Our audience is so much younger.
True. Oh, did you see Joe Montana? Hero over the weekend.
What did he do?
Somebody walked into this house, had the grandbaby over there, walked into the grandbaby's bedroom and swiped the little baby out of the crib and
At Montana's
house in Malibu.
He hit him with a football at 35 yards and dropped him?
A woman grabbed the baby, called the cops, woman got arrested. Seriously.
Now, where did they find her?
Like walking the streets?
She's trying to just steal Joe Montana's baby.
Singing the same old song. She knew everything crack in these dirty sidewalks of Broadway.
Wow.
Yeah, no. The report was a little sketchy on details, but apparently
towards Rhinestone Cowboy.
But apparently she walked into through an unlocked door. That tells me you're watching that house a little bit.
Got a dollar tucked inside her shoe.
Yeah, and a subway token.
Right.
Which don't exist.
So anymore. A woman comes in off the street, walks into Joe Montana's home, walks into the baby's room, picks up Joe Montana's grandbaby.
Yep.
That's a good name for a band, by the way. Joe Montana's grandbaby.
Tries to walk out of the house. Joe stops her, gets the baby back, and then the cops are called and the woman gets arrested.
Well,
And there might be more details. That's a report I saw yesterday.
Joe stood at the door. Omaha, pink.
Wasn't Peyton Manning.
So they pointed out yesterday, and I don't know why the NFL does this. I don't like that the NFL has in the end zone #end racism. I'm just like, really? The league's 95% black. I mean, don't give me racism in the NFL. So there, I mean, really, put a white guy in. Okay, I agree. End racism. Put a white guy in. Give me a Puerto Rican in the slot. Give me a slot receiver. I guess I stereotyped there. That's not racist. They're not big people.
Slot receivers.
Right. Puerto Ricans, slot receivers. Just saying. So here's the deal. They pointed out that Russell Wilson is one of only two. He and Steve Young are the only two quarterbacks to ever throw for 3,000 yards in a year and have over 400 yards rushing. Something like check me. There's only two quarterbacks in NFL history to pass for 30,000 yards in their career and have 4,000 yards rushing. It's Russell Wilson and Steve Young. And the guy at the end of the bit goes, and yet Russell Wilson has never had one MVP vote. What do you think that's saying? And the first thing that jumped to my mind is it because he's black? Is that what we're trying to say? Because Russell Wilson's black, maybe he's not getting an MVP vote? I don't know.
That would seem to be what he's trying to imply,
why would
right?
you say that? I mean, everybody likes Russell Wilson. No, it's not people trying to finagle anxieties where there shouldn't be any. We want it to go away by watching sports.
Maybe he just didn't have MVP caliber years. The numbers, I mean.
Well, he is right now, though. Do y'all know that? He's had 14 touchdown passes in the first 3 games.
Yeah, and no interceptions, right?
Wow.
Yeah, no, he's pretty solid. Well, you're not going to throw an interception against the Cowboys anyway.
Kyler Murray's also having. And Kyler Murray looks like he's playing sandlot ball.
And aside from maybe Seattle's Super Bowl season, but Russell Wilson, Pat Mahomes. I mean, who won it last year?
Pat Mahomes,
right?
It should be. But Kyler Murray goes back, and it looks like, he was a really, really good baseball player. And Murray goes back, and it's like if he's going to throw that little fade route into the corner, it's like he just kind of steps off his back foot, just throws it like me and you playing out on the sandlot, which is fine.
Made the right choice going to football, although I thought he made the wrong choice when he went football instead of baseball.
Yeah, he's just a great player. He brings back a dimension that they just didn't have, and he can run. The fact that he weighs 160 pounds means he's running for his life.
Yeah. So.
What do we got? We got people are awful chatty this morning.
BJ Nelson asked if we saw the Flyers game this weekend. The boys ran out of the helmet with the Blue Lives Matter flag. So proud of them.
Hey, I'm proud of that too. That's great. And that's somewhat probably in response to those 2 kids that got in trouble for having a whatever it was.
Up in Ohio.
Go America flag or something.
I think it was one of those Blue Lives Matter.
Yeah, good for them. Good for St. Joe.
Brad Myers says Chicago finally got smart, benched Trubinsky. In the third, put in Foles and came back 16 down to beat Atlanta.
Wow. Atlanta's not a very good football team either.
They're good at getting the lead. They can't keep it.
Yeah, they blow a lot of leads.
Metcalf, that's the receiver for Seattle. Yeah,
yes.
Thanks, was trying to think of. Couldn't
Brad keeps up with that stuff.
Yeah, he does.
Jeff Fonseca just adds the gratuitous OU sucks. Jimbo's stuck on Mod. I agree. And the only thing it tells me is I was told, and my son Kyle goes there, so he gives me intel. He infiltrated, gives me intel. I was told that the kid they had as a backup was supposed to really be a fine player. And it may just be that the speed of the game, and one thing I will acknowledge, the SEC plays a fast brand of football, is that maybe this kid is just struggling a little bit.
David Glass, good morning. Chris Conner says Texans need to just tank the season Trade the first overall pick for defense.
You know who looked pretty good yesterday in Tennessee's game was Jadeveon Clowney. Oh, if that guy was coming at you, come on.
Don't make it hurt Houston fans even more by
Oh,
propping up the former Houston Oilers.
it's like, yeah, not only does he leave the Texans, he goes to the old Oilers, and he looks like he's an MVP.
Yeah.
Folks, we'll
Time to
take a
break.
break. Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. I know you're tired of us talking football. That's what the show was founded on, sports and an appreciation of. We've just gotten tired of the venues. We've gotten tired of all the political garbage that surrounds our sports.
Lamar Jackson was the MVP last year, Baltimore quarterback.
And a great one. A great one. Allen's Wrecker Service is also a great one. He's the man. 578. What did Arthur Bryan say?
Good morning. After a long week, after 8 long weeks, he's back on the job today.
There you go. He gives us credit for making his journey lighter during his recovery. We appreciate that, brother.
Glad you're back there
I'm
being
glad
healthy,
you're
sir.
well. He's a good man. Sacramento, the only conservative in Sacramento, California. We've got him on the Wade and Carter Show. Folks, put Allen's Wrecker Service in your phone. Just put AAAA Allen's, ALLANS.
578-6300. Put that at the top of your favorite list.
Yeah.
You never
That
miss
way,
it.
when you need them and you're rattled, they'll come help you. The VCS companies, Rocket Oilfield Services, and the only locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer are all part of the Hartman Empire.
Thin Blue Line, we talked about that. They offer discounts to first responders, whether you're police, firefighter, EMS. Teachers get a discount at the only locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer as well. So if you need a new phone, new device, new calling plan, get over to the only locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer and check them out.
Chestnut Furniture Company, 100 years serving Victoria. Fine brands, fine products. Bedding, Tempur-Pedic bedding, washers, dryers, televisions, accoutrement.
They've got it all.
They've got all types of furniture. Furniture's 50% off in
50% off all
celebration
furniture.
of 100 years in business. Went services, went electrical, went generators, went solar. We done went solar. Get you some solar panels. Got a battery backup. They got Generac.
I see what you did there.
Kohler, Briggs and
Nice play
Stratton.
on words.
They've got them all. Hey, I was country. She went country. Here you come.
That was gone country.
Went
I
services.
see where you're going with that.
There you go. Folks, we're glad to be back with you. We
Yeah.
did, I don't know. I do not know. I think we may have
I
to,
did not know that.
we may have to take a Friday off. I just thought of that. We'll talk about it.
I don't know why.
Why would we?
I don't know.
Let's see what, okay. Go ahead.
Dallas Lightning tonight, Game 6, Stanley Cup Finals. Dallas wins a double overtime Saturday night to extend that series, which was good. Chris Conrad said he was glad Dallas won because he wasn't ready for hockey to end. I'm not ready for hockey to end yet either. So
We
I'm
watched part of
hoping
that
this one
the
goes
other
to
night.
I'm hoping this one goes to 7. It'd be good. This will be the first legitimate Stanley Cup for either franchise. For those that don't know, Dallas won it in 96? Brett Hull's infamous skate in the crease back at the time when you couldn't have any body part in the crease or the play was immediately blown dead. NHL didn't have the guts to say, well, you were in the crease, Stanley Cup winning goal, we're not going to.
Really? So
Yeah.
it's kind of like it's been shown. It's like, oh, that was clearly a violation.
Yeah, clearly.
Okay. All right. Good to know.
Tampa Bay, 2004 against my Flames, Game 6. Martin Jelena scored what looked like a goal to everybody but replay officials and the ice. And so then Tampa Bay comes back, wins that one, then wins it in 7. So this will be the first legitimate Stanley Cup for either one.
Sounds like a bitter, bitter Flames fan talking. Astros make the
Maybe.
playoffs.
6th seed,
Unbelievable.
gonna play the Twins.
Should beat the Twins.
It's interesting. They put all the American League teams in National League cities, and all the American or National League teams are playing in American League ballparks.
Is that right?
So I think San Diego and LA, is that right? Have the American League first round.
National League first round.
No, American League. They're playing.
Oh,
They flipped them.
Okay.
And then Arlington's going to have the World Series, the new Globe Life ballpark there. Now, because I haven't paid a whole lot of attention,
we gave HR anxiety saying that we might take Friday off. Why are you dropping bombshells? Like trying to get you ready. So
just trying to make sure you're paying attention, HR.
Yeah. Need you.
So are these best of three to start the wild card rounds? Do we know?
No.
They start Tuesday.
No, they got to be best of 5, right? They only played 60 games for the whole season.
No, game 3s if necessary.
Okay. I saw an interesting deal the other day. Alex Bregman was breaking down his swing, and he was talking about
Astros going at least a 2-game losing skid. They're 2 games under.
I'm not staying in there, and he says when I let my hip fly open, then my hands drop, and he said then I'm either hitting I'm either coming over and hitting a weak grounder to the left side, or I'm coming underneath it and hitting a short flare into right. He said what I need to do is stay in there, and then I'm driving the ball to right and getting the lift on the long ball into the left. It's pretty interesting to hear you're watching a guy playing baseball. He's a kid. He's just having fun out there until he starts analyzing launch angles and bat position and all that. And they're intense. I listened one time to, I was at an event in Lance.
Well, now that you've got it figured out, Alex,
let's just fix it.
Yeah,
right?
fix it for the playoffs.
Alex, Lance Berkman talked about hitting and just like compression and swinging down through the baseball. And it was just like all of a sudden, I'm an aficionado. I love baseball. And in about 2 minutes, it was like so over my head. I was just sitting there like in awe, just listening to him talk about, centers of gravity and staying back and collapsing this and then dropping the bat head. And I was like, I'm lost. I'm done.
So let's be honest. You and I never thought the Astros would limp into the playoffs. No. 2 games under 500. No. They've had some injuries.
JP won another bet.
I don't know that the loss of Garrett Cole was as harmful to the Astros as it might. That would
he
thought.
Didn't do anything great for the Yankees.
They lose Verlander, which I could say, I don't know that they'll ever get Verlander back.
He says he wants to come back.
Of course he says that.
But most of these guys that have the Tommy J, they come back better.
Well, they do, but they're also not 38 years old.
True.
And you're looking at least, he won't pitch next year at all.
Is that right?
I don't think. I don't think so. McCullers was out for an entire year.
Yeah, boy, McCullers was good. I don't know how he's done this year, but he was good.
You think everything's just finally catching up with the Astros?
Yeah.
Or
karma for being cheaters.
Maybe. I think it shows how important A.J. Hinch was as the manager of that team, despite all the cheating and all that other garbage. I think he was really in tune with the pulse of that team, who's hot, who's not, who needs to sit when. I don't know that Dusty Baker's got that. He's got 2 years left.
How do you feel now as an Astros fan that Astros got off to a pretty good start to this season? And I'm sure that ownership and management asked key players on the team, how do you feel about him? And like 20 games into the season, they gave him another extension.
Give him 1 more year. So he's there for 1 more season, the full season.
Yeah. Do we agree?
I don't know. We figured all Dusty had to do was not screw it up.
Bob Cantwell says, bang the can slowly. We do go back into some old that'd be the bang the drum slowly. Is that the same guy is it Plimpton? George Plimpton? I don't know why that comes to mind. I think that's right.
I thought it was before that, wasn't it?
I don't know.
But I don't know. I think
Richard King of King Ranch fame says there's a lot more to baseball than most people know. Ash and I have talked about that you've got to get a little older to really enjoy watching baseball. Everybody loves to play baseball, but baseball is a thinking person's game, and it's a situational game.
A lot of strategy.
You're constantly strategizing about whether you go nuclear or if you just try to lay down a bunt, you're going to see a swing one of these days. The game has evolved into power pitching and the long ball. You're not going to see a knuckleballer come to the big leagues anytime soon. You may see a big leaguer learn a knuckleball, but you're not going to see a knuckleballer come to the big leagues.
Here's why. Because nobody in the minors can catch a knuckleball.
Well, the day will come when, whoa, this is novel. Boy, this is new. They had runners at first and second. Nobody else. They laid down a bunt. What?
Interesting. I was just going to say that as much as launch angle and home runs and everything is the game right now, and it'll probably be Oakland because Oakland's the money ball. They tend to be the ones that, it's going to be Oakland or another small market team.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the Florida Marlins. I don't know. But within the next couple of years, you're going to start seeing a team go back to doing things the way things were done in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
I think you're going to start with rosters being expanded a little bit more. I think you might see a little bit more platooning of players at certain positions.
I can see Jeter in Tampa being a pioneer of that. He grew up in that league.
I think you're going to start seeing more small ball get played.
Stolen bases, bunts, situational hitting.
We marvel at a 30 stolen base season nowadays, and that was nothing. Ricky Henderson would have that done before the first week of the season was over.
It used to be a thing of beauty to see you got a runner at first, nobody out. The next hitter just hits one into right field and moves that guy to third. It was so common, and it was such an art form. And now it's like, the next two hitters strike out trying to hit bombs, and then Altuve hits a bomb, and you still got the 2 runs. That's kind of how it goes,
I now find myself marveling at a well-executed hit and run.
Yes.
Because they're so not executed anymore.
No, that's right.
Guy at first takes off for second, batter flares it into right, and now you're first and third.
It wouldn't surprise me now. Let's say that Garrett Cole's on the mound, and a guy lays a bunt down somewhat between third and the mound. I wouldn't be surprised at all if the announcer said, well, that's just, tell you what, that may get him grooved in the hip in the next at-bat. I mean, he could have ended Garrett Cole's career. Garrett Cole could have pulled a hamstring trying to get to that bunt. This next guy better not dig in too deep. You're like, really? And then he throws a ball that just happens to get inside. And then Garrett Cole's ejected from the game. He could have ended that batter's career. I mean, he could have hit him with that baseball. The horror. Nolan Ryan says, hey, there's times you got to hit a batter. Yeah. Loved it. Loved baseball as a kid. Tom Seaver would have hit you.
Can the Astros beat the Twins? That's the question everyone wants to know.
Astros can beat the Twins.
All right.
You going to go?
Fair enough.
We're done with that?
I don't know that they can.
Can Joe Biden beat Donald Trump? That's the question. Can Joe Biden win a debate tomorrow night? Did you see the flare-up over the weekend about Joe Biden saying he was talking about this and that in the military, and he goes, yeah, clap for that, you stupid bastards. That's what he said.
Yeah.
That's what he said. Clap for that, you stupid bastards. And somebody immediately came out and said, he didn't say that. That was dubbed onto that. And military people said, contraire. He did say that, but guess what? It was in 2016. They make it sound like they make it sound like he flew into Riyadh, got off the plane, and insulted our military, which is not what happened. He insulted our military 4 years ago.
Yeah, no.
I can't think of a situation where you would say to a group of military, I get it, cheer for that, you devil dogs. That's one thing, but he mumbled it under his breath, folks. Yeah, cheer, you ought to clap for that, you stupid bastard.
It wasn't that mumbled under the breath.
Well, yeah, I mean,
but who
does that? Joe Biden is a jerk.
People. And it was 4 years ago, but he's got a habit of this. I mean, if you're going to worry about the character flaws of Trump and you exonerate the character flaws of Biden, you're a hypocrite.
That's exactly right. That's exactly correct.
But the absolute defense of that by those on the left. Oh, he didn't say that. The video's right there.
Yeah.
And they're still denying the fact he said it. I followed a Twitter feed yesterday because the Cowboys weren't doing anything and I was lazy. He didn't say that. Go watch the video. That's right there.
He did say that.
He did say that.
It's interesting that you've got, he's got issues. I can't wait to see
I just
the
hope
debate tomorrow night. That's going to be must-watch TV. You wait till you see the television ratings tomorrow night.
it's on Fox. And right away the Dems were like, well, this one's on Fox. Well, there going to be 3 of them, and they're going to be on different networks.
It's going to be super.
But you got Chris Wallace. You got Chris Wallace.
Who's about as left as they get.
Yeah, he's not a Trump fan.
No.
But I think he'll do a good job. I think he's fairly decent at what he does. And I think he'll do a good job moderating it. I don't think you're going to see a bias either way. I think he'll shoot straight down the middle.
He'll be fair.
Yeah.
I do. I think he'll be fair.
But I hope.
Rush Limbaugh says it's not going to happen, Ash. Rush Limbaugh said this debate is not going to happen. Until I see Sleepy Joe on the stand, it's not going to happen. I'm convinced that Biden's going to come out with a mask on, waving at people.
Yeah.
Hi, how you doing? How you doing?
Well, my wife asked me yesterday, and good morning, Cheryl. I know she's listening. She's like, when's the debate? I said, Tuesday. First one's Tuesday. She goes, Biden doesn't have COVID yet?
Yeah, I'm telling you, Limbaugh says that Biden will never show. That it'll never happen. By the way, I know T-Lat's finally listening now. T-Lat, thanks so much. What a great weekend we gave each other. Our anniversary was the 16th. And then we go through a week there where Kyle is the 23rd, Katie is the 25th, I'm the 26th, and then Dawn comes up on October 14th. And maybe not just this year, maybe from now on, because it makes perfect sense. We said, instead of doing a big birthday thing, let's just go to Cabo. So that's what we're doing.
Smarter.
And for somebody who wasn't going to do anything, she put together a wonderful dinner. Caden, with a little direction from mom, but the 12-year-old son made a beautiful cheesecake.
Yeah, and it was good.
A real cheesecake. I mean, like there were mixers and there was stuff all over the kitchen, and it was real.
And it was good.
And it was good. And then it was a nice. We had a nice time. And I thank you, Dawn. You're a sweetheart. You're the breath of fresh air.
Kelly Fromey says, join the watch party at Greeks tomorrow night.
See, that just sounds like there's going to be some early week drinking, and I want to be able to focus on all of Joe's. If you don't focus on what Biden says, you can't understand what he meant to say. You've got to listen closely.
Worst job tomorrow at the debate? The sign language guy trying to decipher what Joe Biden's going to say.
Yeah, he'll be bad.
Well, here's what's going to happen. Well, no, because they don't get the questions ahead of time.
Well, in theory, they don't. Trump doesn't need them. Trump is so supremely confident right now. And by the way, I finally talked to some people this weekend who understood that Trump, when they asked him, if you lose, will there be a peaceful transfer of power? He doesn't want to even talk in terms of that he might lose. I get that. The man's a competitor. No, we'll just have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? He trolls the media.
Trump's not going to give up the office. For the headlines.
No, it turned into Trump says that he will not go quietly. I mean, he never said that, people. And on top of that, what do you think he's going to do? Make a phone call and the U.S. military is going to back him up?
Yeah.
Is he Hitler? People are idiots.
They say he is.
Yeah, people are idiots.
Yeah, no, they really are.
It's not going to happen.
Jim Harbin checking in.
Brad Miner makes a good point. You have to be intoxicated to understand Biden. So if you were to drink a little or maybe imbibe in a little weed, the next thing you know, like Biden makes perfect sense to you. That's the thought.
Steve Kidder says, if you start drinking on Tuesday, you're starting behind the start line.
Right. Steven's like, what? I have a couple of Bellinis for breakfast, and I don't drink again until lunch.
Yeah, there was a saying in Washington State, if you don't drink in the morning, you can't drink all day.
There you go. It wasn't just at Washington State. Folks, Veracruz, be a great day for you to get into Veracruz today. Mexican food extraordinary. I did watch the Cowboy game with Lee and Heidi yesterday and did have some beef and chicken fajitas. And he made some guacamole at the house that it's just phenomenal. And you can get it every day at Veracruz. The guac is so good. They have a secret ingredient. I can't tell you. Ash knows now, but nobody else knows. Get in there and let Veracruz hook you up. 576-6015 if you want to order an enchilada casserole to go. Razor IT Solutions, JP Hull and his team will come out. They'll help you with encryption, with your analytics. They'll help you understand algorithms and the way people will interact with your website, with your Facebook page. They'll help you collect money on Facebook. They can tie it all into your QuickBooks. And the next thing you know, Jed's a millionaire. Reach out to JP Hull and our friends at Razor IT Solutions. I went by Atzenoffer the other day. I saw something I've never seen before. You and I talked about it. It was a Toyota Land Cruiser. It was used. It was $74,900, people. $75,000 for a Toyota. Found out.
That's $20,000 off the new sticker price.
And I found out that that's actually a pretty good deal on that vehicle. They did have touchscreen, leather, air-conditioned seats. I mean, they had the whole deal. But I was like, can't you just spend an extra $10 and get a Lexus? What are you doing? $75,000. But it was a good deal.
It's the off-label Lexus.
It's the off-label Lexus. It's so that's so when you drive up, people go, that's a nice Toyota. It's just like a Lexus.
But they've got one sitting there for you.
Right. It's ready. Go get it. White Trash Services, 550-1826. BJ and Scott Nelson and their family and friends, they've got a business that just works. They work and the business works. They're friendly people. They do what they tell you they're going to do. They do it quicker than you expect.
And they do it in 6 counties.
And Holiday Beach and Rockport. Reach out to BJ Nelson. You can call and ask. Yes, you can. You can call and ask to talk to BJ Nelson. 550-1826. Now, she might be on a jet somewhere with Alan West to hook up with Donald Trump and go to dinner. But if she's available, she'll take the call. 550-1826. That's White Trash Services.
So Trump's taxes get leaked.
Just like a habit. Is
Yeah.
that old radio?
Yeah, that's all the radio. Just making
He's
sure.
pushing all the knobs down over here, folks.
Just making sure.
Yeah. Double check.
Oh, did I click that off? Yeah, I did.
There you go.
Phones are silent. 575-9509 if anybody wants to give a call.
What do you make time?
What do you
Second
make?
caller gets nothing.
Yeah. You make the New York Times all of a sudden running what they say were Trump's tax returns. They didn't publish the tax returns that they said they had. He paid nothing for a few years. He paid $750, I think, in 15 and 16.
How much?
$750. There was obviously, from what I gathered, there was no signs of payments from Russia.
No.
Which I saw an interesting observation. Mueller was investigating Russia for 2 years, yet somehow that investigation team could not find the $3.5 million that went from the former mayor's wife, the former mayor of Moscow's wife to Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
Not looking very hard for corruption, if that's the case. And everybody's up in arms. He paid no taxes. He's a liar and a cheater. No, he's taking advantage of the tax laws that exist to write off large capital losses.
Absolutely. I watched over the weekend a guy I don't like. I make no bones about it. I don't like Oliver Stone. But I watched a documentary because it was actually a series of interviews between Oliver Stone and Vladimir Putin. They ranged in date from like December of 15 through February of 17. They got together 4 times. And the one that I watched was actually from 17. I don't know if it was the 3rd or the 4th one. But it was after the election. And Stone asks him point blank, what role did Russia have in steering the election? What did they do? And Putin kind of asked the questions that we've asked. He said, I have to ask you, Mr. Stone, what would we do to manipulate the way someone votes? He said, America is so fraught with bureaucracy that, and he said, and Stone interrupted him and said, well, so many people think that it's an advantage to Russia to have Trump in office. And he said, it is, because Mr. Trump, he goes, I like Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump has expressed an interest in having a, decent relationship between our two countries. We both hate terrorism. we both want to feed the hungry. I kind of smirked at that, but he said, we both want to end terrorism, which I do think that the Russians are much more ruthless and much less accommodating of the radical Islamic faction. They don't like those people at all. You'll recall that in Russia, in general, religion is an opiate of the people. If you ask them, they're probably, as a nation, as a Politico, they're agnostic at best. They're certainly not a Christian country. There are large pockets of Christianity in Russia, but they would just as soon kill anybody.
Well, they're a holdover from the Soviet Union and communism.
Yeah, so they would just as soon kill anybody that would do anything in the name of God. If you're going to attack the Kremlin in the name of Muhammad, you're going down. They got no problem just killing. Whereas we try to...
They got no problem killing you if you're trying to attack the Kremlin in the name of Jesus either.
Exactly. That's I guess what I was trying to get around the barn to is that from a religious standpoint, they're kind of anti-religion. That could come in really handy if you're the U.S. and you want to get rid of some terrorists. But Putin just said, no, we did not dabble in their election.
Well, of course, that's what he's going to say.
Sure.
He can admit to it.
Yeah. But I got the feeling that he and Trump know each other, but that they're not. This was early in his tenure. They know each other, but they're not buddies. No. Putin's a bad dude. You can see it in his eyes.
Oh, for sure.
He's a bad guy.
So there was that over the weekend. Amy Coney Barrett gets nominated or officially becomes Trump's nominee for Supreme Court, and the left goes absolutely crazy.
Here's a lady that adopted 2 black children.
Oh, but did you see some of the accusations? She only did that because she knew she was going to be nominated for the Supreme Court and needed a couple black kids, so she's not a racist.
Sure, she did.
Those are the types of things coming out on Twitter from folks on the left, and I don't know that they were anybody that I saw that was actually an elected official.
Yeah.
Or running for office, but very much Biden supporters coming out and making those types of claims. Another one that got some traction, some idiot. How did she have time to raise 7 kids? Oh no, a Catholic. We can't put a Catholic on the Supreme Court. I'm pretty sure we've got people of all sorts of religious persuasions sitting on courts, and the last time I checked, they're there to adjudicate the law,
right? Not
the religion.
And Ruth Bader Ginsburg was Jewish, so she's gone. And it is interesting though. All right, it was just before.
I'm surprised they haven't attacked the fact that he picked a woman to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Right. No, that's true. Just before my birth, though, that it was a big deal that John F. Kennedy was the first Roman Catholic ever elected president in this country.
I find it interesting too with who was his attorney general?
Bobby Kennedy?
His brother, right?
Right.
No worries about nepotism there.
No.
But Trump can't have his kids sitting in. That's nepotism.
Yeah, well, it's the Democrats. And what do we tell you? The left is always most easily recognized by their hypocrisy. Speaking of the excitement, did you see the buzz? Did you see the video I shared over the weekend of the riding with Biden? Now, this deal had graphics. It had ads on Facebook. I went down to verify because I knew it was going to be touted as a huge event, just a huge Democratic outpouring in our community. I leniently counted 16 cars. On my video, I called it 20. The best dressed vehicle was a gas guzzling 10-year-old Ford Expedition that had paper plates on it, the white ones with little ribbed edges on it, that said Joe Biden, Joe Biden, on the side of the truck.
Biden?
Biden. Yeah. I was just like, wow. I shaved my legs for this. There was one lady. I got down there.
I saw a lot of Priuses in your video.
Right. I got down there about 11:20. They were coming from Sky Restaurant. And about 11:30, I had a little Wade & Carter water bottle, but I hid the Wade & Carter logo because I didn't want anybody to see me. And a woman and her son, a woman and a young man got out of a car and set up 2 chairs, and she had flags. And at that moment, she had American flags. I thought, okay, there's another side of the pancake. They're still very pro-America. Let's go. He had an American flag, and then there was another woman and a baby, and a 2-year-old toddler type. They were running around on the lawn. And another young couple came over, and I thought, okay, now there's kind of like a little, Gen X couple here. They ate and left.
Oh,
they just came and ate on the square. And then here they come. Whoa! You hear them, they're honking horns and all that. And I thought, man, here they come. And this truck came around the corner. So I videoed it. It's like 3 minutes of video because that's all there was. Like they went around the square once. And when that truck came around the second time, there was nobody else filing in. I called it maybe 20 cars. I'm going to tell you what, I could make a phone call without a phone call. I could have a Wade & Carter meet at Sky restaurant. Of course, with our group, I'd have to say, meet at the Brown Bag. And we're going to go around the square, and then we're going to go to Moonshot. And I believe I could have 50 cars, days notice over this radio station. Now, if I start putting together Riding with Ash, Crashing with Ash, we could have 200 easy.
Crashing with Caleb.
Right? Yes, we're going to go drive around
until
we have a Caleb Shaw Award winner. Anyway, whatever, it is what it is. The Democrats, you got to be careful because we look at things here through the eyes of a red county. I mean, Trump will win here. It's the way it is.
Somewhat myopic view.
Yeah, and we have to be careful because that's not our. Bob Wiley just said Brother Gary would know exactly how many cars were at that Democratic rally the other day. I did not see Brother Gary. I did not see that. Brother Gary was not driving in that. He's neutral on those things. He's just pro-America, and I love him for that.
A couple of quick hitters before we get off the air. TikTok got a stay of execution. You were supposed to, as of yesterday, not be able to download the app anymore.
But don't do it. Why would you want to give China access to all your data?
Well, I think it's beyond that. And then I don't know if you saw this. It was making its way on Twitter, and I don't know that it'll get a lot of traction in the mainstream media.
Fonseca says we need to tailgate before our drive.
No, we can't do that.
Somebody bring the sausages.
Yeah, but everybody will have a designated driver because we got way too many law enforcement.
We could have law enforcement drive everybody.
Wow, they couldn't do that on the dime.
We could pay them.
But Project Veritas came out with a undercover piece in Minneapolis on voter fraud. And it's been released on Twitter. It'll be interesting to see if it gets picked up. The state attorney general of Minnesota says they're actually going to investigate this. But Ilhan Omar's name was linked to a voter ballot harvesting scam in her district. Her campaign manager heavily involved in this, named by a bunch of people who were involved in the undercover investigation.
In comes City Council member Andrew Young says, "Get bent with Brent." That's nice. Yeah. Well played, sir. Welcome home.
So it's going to be interesting to see if this gets any traction in Minnesota prior to the election in a few weeks.
Folks, that's going to just about do us for the day. But listen, in about 3 hours, Masaminos, you can whip into Uncle Mud's Barbecue. Brisket, ribs, sausage, chicken, turkey, they'll have it all ready.
And they got a daily special every day.
They have a daily special every day. And
I guess it wouldn't be a daily special. They didn't do it every day.
Right? There you go. Don't second guess yourself. You were on a roll. Get by Uncle Mud's today. It's fantastic. The food is fresh. The service is incredible. Drive through. They'll treat you right. The best iced tea in town. Gray Barn Design. Reach out to Cheryl. She can help you with your next event. She can make it fun. She can make it lively. I expect my funeral to have lots and lots of color. I don't want it to be dour and dark. I want it to be friendly.
Burnt orange and white.
920-6803. That's Gray Barn Design, 920-6803. And then, of course, I talked to Charlie Garcia. Yesterday was Charlie's birthday. I sent him a quick note, and USA Concrete Coatings is just tearing it up. They're doing more and more stuff. People are finding more and more ways for them to be creative on your behalf. They started out doing garages, people that wanted to turn them into man caves, people that wanted to turn them into really clean places for their vehicles. It's a one-day deal. They come in, they sand and clean, they get all the oil off and fill the cracks, and then they put a coat on.
Won't chip, won't peel, won't crack.
But now,
more durable.
pool decks,
Sidewalks.
porches, patios,
Yeah, they'll do it all.
they can do it all. Bedrooms, you got a young kid, you want to say, hey, you know what, take that carpet up. You can always put carpet on it later. Put that down, you can wet mop it, and it's good to go. No tile. Tile's expensive. Reach out to
Stained
these folks.
concrete. I saw somebody the other day posting on social media that they were expecting a certain color, not even close on the stained concrete. I
Right.
don't know if that's just because of the way that works. You're not going to be disappointed with the color that
Absolutely.
USA Concrete Coatings puts down.
Folks, stay tuned for the Hall of Famer Ralph Salazar, along with, Gary Moses is too much to be a sidekick. He's got to be more of a kind of a co-host.
Raise it up.
He said, raise the bar, man. Brother Gary is not scared.
Nope.
Have headphones will travel. The man goes from station to station with his own headphones. I'm surprised he didn't have his own microphone. Plug this in for me. I'm surprised he didn't have a valet that goes in and plugs it
Just
in.
a lapel mic. It's already on his tie every morning, ready to go.
But if
That's what he
anybody,
needs.
if anybody might walk in and just out of habit start pointing and waving, hey, how you doing? I coach that kid. Brother Gary could be the guy that he'll be here along with Ralph. They'll play some fun
And Vic,
stuff.
Vic's in the house.
Is Vic doing mic time? Look at him. Makes me nervous. Victor makes me nervous. Hey, we love you folks. We hope you have a great day. And Ash and I will be here in the morning. Take care.